Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm Cyclone, and it's time for Simrail, the railway simulator. We are doing another video here in the multiplayer mode of the game. Now, I've already gone ahead and recorded the bits I'm doing today. I've been having some difficulty with recording them because it turns out that this game does not work very nicely with default OBS hardware recording settings, rendering. I had to play with my Windows settings, getting rid of game mode, things like that. I had to get my encoding down to a software encoder and basically mess around with settings in ways I've never actually gone in depth on them before. And I finally got the second of the runs you're going to see today working. This is a very, very long run that's going to be, I think, a little over an hour or somewhere in that range anyway. And we're going to be doing that second. I also have a really small run preceding that that's going to take us up line 660, but we're not going to actually reach the station of Sosnowiec Główny, which is unfortunate. Or the south station, I should say, because we get cut off of the train before we actually get to see the station. So we end up in AI-only territory before we even reach the station, which really ruins the immersion of having that little side route. It's going to be nice when we actually have the full journey available at payware launch. I'm going to have to visit that route again, but I'm going to show you the route as it is right now, and I'm going to show you a route from Psary down to Katowice, the entire length of the line, not including the entire northern segment, because we're going to visit that again when we head to Warsaw. So we're going to see that northern track again when we head to Warsaw. I'm going to try to start from the Psary area for a video to Warsaw in the future. But for right now, I'm going to show you two journeys that I've already taped. I've gone ahead on the first journey and used an abandoned server, so no one was around and we were just following AI dispatching. For the second journey, I taped on EN9, and I made the people who unwittingly starred in the video, one intentionally putting himself in that role. I just made them aware that they were going to be in this video, and some of them do know, and one of them actually did make a comment as to why I was held up at one point. So I'm going to put that in the text you're going to see in the feed. So I do have names of people I was driving with, not to shame them or anything. It's a fun experience. It's all fun. It's multiplayer. You're out there. We can get that information. It's freely accessible. So we're going to see who comes along on our journey on the second journey today. And I'm going to do some commentary as to certain things, not to shame people who are doing the role, because it's all a learning experience for all of us. I mess up too. Everyone messes up. But I make some commentary about things like how trains should be prioritized. I comment on some lines that we see coming and joining the line as we go by, because there's a number of lines. It's not just line 1 and or line 4 in some cases. So we're going to get some good commentary on the route itself as part of the second video. The first video is just a little short journey, but we're going to see that part of the video on the second video. So if you don't want to see the same section twice, just skip ahead. You can skip ahead to the point where the longer journey begins. I don't care if you skip the first one, but by all means, I would love you to see both journeys because it gives you an idea of different journeys that are available in the route. I do plan to show you more journeys, but I'm going to wait till we have the full payware version of the game. And then I will show you more journeys as either driving or as riding along, whatever I end up doing. So I may do some more ride-alongs, just to do another cab view type of thing, because I like this whole cab view thing. But it also lets you commentate without the pressures of driving. So that's what I'm trying to do in these videos today. I hope you enjoy this video. And without any further ado, let's go into the first drive. We're going to start with a drive from Katowice, starting at the platform. We're going to be heading to Sosnowiec South Station, up line 660, but we're going to be cut off before we merge with line 62. So let's get started on that, and then we'll move into our journey starting on line 4. So you join the service. It is currently sitting at the station because it has not departed yet. As you can see, this service technically starts from Katowice at 13:04, continues at 13:15 at Sosnowiec Południowy. I'm never going to get that right. I'm sorry, that's a hard word. So let's just make sure we are set for bot driving and settings. So I'm going to go ahead and just, hop off and get out of the chair. And as long as I can get out of the chair, that's the important thing. I've gotten out of the chair. So we're going to go ahead and, can I sit here? I can't sit in that one. Okay. That's good to know. I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can ride along here. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a lot of fun here. So we can basically cab view our way out the front window here and basically, cab view. Set our camera and we can look out the front window. And the goal is to let the bot drive the train because I'm going to go ahead and see if we can just ride along here. So 13:04, we have a 2-minute delay apparently, and the schedule does say that information right there on the side here. We can't highlight it, but it does say that. So let's see if the bot will simply drive for us. I am interested in seeing this. And actually, I'm not looking at the top of the screen. It is set for autopilot. So it does say auto, and then click to disable autopilot. So we are okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can push buttons to get... Oh, look at that. There's what I want to see. Nice little camera views. So I assume we're going to be picking up passengers here. Oh, we're driving. We are driving. So we've pulled forward, we have found our way to the red signal, and like I said, I'm just going to go ahead and set up the camera view out the window, and we're going to go ahead and watch. So we have our signal to proceed, yellow signal. Welcome to Cab Rides in Simrail, ladies and gentlemen. Cab Rides in Simrail. So you're departing Katowice. This is the main railway station at the end of line 1. Behind us is the end of line 1 at the station, and we're now taking the path heading towards Poland, or Warsaw, Poland technically, but we're going to be turning off well before then, heading south. We continue to have yellow signals as we move forward. I'm not perfectly knowledgeable of all the railway signals yet, so I'm not feeling confident driving knowing what all the signals mean yet. This is one of the reasons I want to ride along and see what the various drivers do on the couple services that we try to pick up. I'll try to load the signal list for the second drive though, because it'll be a longer drive. This is a short one. So we're being shuttled over to this side. I believe this is where the main line is. Keep in mind there are lines, both line 1 and line 138, which is a set of 4 tracks in total, head to and from Katowice Zawiercie. So we're going to be making our way to Katowice Zawiercie. Our arrival time is 13:07, but there is a delay, and notice we are late. So I believe we're being told the next signal is a red signal. It is saying that that is something like 300 meters away. And confirmed the train is slowing down right now. Signal has just cleared to a double yellow, so we are back on the way. We have a single yellow, it looks like, up ahead. It is now a green signal. The signal has updated to show a clear progression for our train. I believe you can see the building up ahead for Katowice Zawiercie. So I believe that is the signal building for controlling the tracks here. We're going to take the left path, I believe, and enter the station on platform number 2. We're taking the full left here. We're going on the left track heading in this direction. Interesting. So you're now pulling into the stop at Katowice Zawiercie. And our train is going to come to a stop here. Or maybe not. We're not actually stopping at all. This is apparently not a stopping service at this station. We're continuing right onwards to Sosnowiec, Główny. Now to the right are the tracks to Mistovici. I do not believe those tracks are complete yet, so we're not actually going to be able to take those tracks. And in fact, the dispatching at that location is actually the setup to not let you take those tracks. I do see another train up ahead. That is a service coming in our direction, I believe. So our train is limited to 20 kilometers per hour. There is indeed a train waiting in a signal on the other track. From what I can tell, I believe this is wrong way running. We should be taking the path on the right, but we're being moved on the left instead. So this is another service going by. I don't know 100% which service this is, but it looks like a passenger service. Possibly a 2-4 or 4-1 or some kind of service like that. I can certainly tell you it's not one of the Pendo services, the 4-1 or the 2-1 or anything like, or 1-4 or anything like that. 1-4, 4-1, none of those. That train looks like just left. I think I saw that train leaving because it seemed to move faster all of a sudden. So it got a green signal. It's on the way. It needed our track apparently. So it now has the track behind us. We're supposed to arrive at Sosnowiec, Główny to take line 660 2 minutes ago. So we are definitely behind schedule. It says there is 0-minute delay right now, but we are definitively behind schedule. 30 is the speed limit at about 4 kilometers. I'd be a little confused having a 20 and a 30 both showing up as a speed limit in several kilometers away. That would be a little confusing because we're in a 20 right now. The signal does appear to be green. We're just not allowed to move any faster on the track that we're on. So we are being sent the slow way for sure. We're not being sent in any kind of quick line right now. I am definitely keeping an eye out for the next station because the next station, and I'm going to butcher how you say this, Katowice Znopini's Południowy is the station between the Zawiercie station and Główny, or Główny. Our timetable is just moving later and later right now. See all the lines to Mistovici over there. So those lines are still there. The lines will not go off completely until we go through the next platform. And I am already zoomed in, so I can't really zoom in anymore, but I'm wondering if that's the platform coming up ahead here. That might be the platform. I definitely want a high-speed line on the next one, guys. We're going to take a high-speed service on the next one. Why not? That's what we're going to do. So I believe this is the platform coming up here. We're at the 313.4 kilometer marker. That means that if we stay on line 1, not taking line 4, if we stay on line 1, it is 313.4 kilometers through the 77 stations up ahead on line 1 before we arrive into Warsaw. So basically a station every 3 or 4 kilometers or so is what we're looking at here. Our speed lifts to 100 kilometer per hour limit. We do have 20 up ahead when we take the line. When we take the line heading south, we will be moved on to a slower speed limit at that time. So here we are coming by the triple name station I just mentioned, Południowy. And there go the lines to Katowice. They're going to take off to the right at this time. There is a dispatcher there, but we can't send any services there yet, so those lines are going to stay empty in our build. You can see where the lines do go off in that direction. So we are now definitively on line 1 by ourselves. 138 has left us. By the way, you saw that bridge going over. That was line 654, 657. That was the one that went over us. So we are now continuing on. There is a tram off to our left that I don't think is visible on our game. The tram would be off to our left. If we were on that tram, the next station on that would be Zawiercie, Stawiki. So that would be a tram stop on the area coming by here. Then Sosnowiec, Górnicza. We have a double yellow. It just upgraded to a double yellow, so we are now showing red on a 6-minute delay. I believe this is line 660. This would be line 660. You can actually see, if you can get far enough in, you can see the building standing up in the distance there. That is the building we just operated a shift out of in yesterday's video. So I ran over to this line, I showed you this line. This is line 660. I didn't really show you this line, I showed you 62, but you can see the building now going to the left. It's going to be off our window view in a moment. That is Sosnowiec, Główny. So we're now taking the slow line over to the right. And we are going to find our way into our station stop at Sosnowiec, Południowy. Now there are additional stops up ahead, but because the multiplayer simulator does not have dispatching beyond this station right now, we are going to find that our service is going to be warped out. We're not actually going to be making any of the stops at these services. There is a double yellow signal. We do have a red up ahead about 1 kilometer away. Apparently a 60 kilometer speed limit is about say about 50 meters away. And that's the end of the service. Yeah, so the game didn't show us anything else because that was the end of the service for us. Either it does say scenario completed, so it does say that was a completed run for us. So that's all we can do on that one. There's nothing else we can do on that particular service. That's the end of that cab ride. And that was indeed the quick service that I expected it to be. So we aren't going to see anything else on that until we actually get into the payware game. Once we have the payware game, we can run this service again. We'll be able to see a lot more of the service. But for right now, that's what we have. Let's go ahead and get ready for a second one, shall we? Here we are on part number 2 of our journey today. I've gone ahead and taken over a service partway along this journey already. We're taking over this 14133 in the Psary area. We are approaching Góra Wodowska. That's how I'm going to say that. On our way to Zawiercie, which is our next stop on this journey. This service did originate in Warsaw, I should say, obviously in Poland. In Warsaw, Groszów, I guess is how you say that. They would just call that Groszów station because Warsaw is assumed to be part of just the main area, so they would just call it Groszów to make it easier. Lots of cars on the road today. And our eventual final stop is Bohumien, which is about an hour and a half beyond Katowice. So it's a very, very long train, and it makes me really have some hope that we are going to see DLC for this game, so that services like this can be run in their entirety. That is what I would love to see. So let's see if we actually are blessed with that at some point in the future. For right now, though, we are on our way to... Actually, we might be going through Psary in the next minute. So we're going to see sidings open up in a minute as we go through Psary, most likely. And then we're going to start seeing other tracks veering off as we start to see other routes come and go from us. Starsea is, however you say it, is one of the routes that's going to join very close to where we are. Now, I joined on the EN4 server, I believe. No, EN9 server. I joined on the EN9 server, so there were 4 dispatchers hanging around this server at the time that I joined. I am going to actually bring up the Simrail tracking page while I am riding through here. I'm just riding along, I'm letting the bot do the driving, so I'm going to bring up the Simrail tracking page and see see who is actually on the dispatching as I go through. I'm very curious to know this. So, picking EN9 from my server list. If I zoom in on my train right now, it actually shows me with a question mark on the train. It just shows me with a question mark, which is very nice. So I can actually see where I am on the train. And I can tell you what the trains are that are going to be going by us as we drive along. That's the other benefit of this. There's a train heading to Warsaw, where we just left from. It came from Katowice and Gliwice, and it is heading to Warsaw. We're going to see train number 4134, a Pendolino, which is capable of going 200 kilometers per hour on these high-speed stretches. It is on its way to Warsaw, like I said. So that is the first train we're going to be seeing along our journey. And Psary, by the way, is actually far behind us now. We are well beyond Psary at this point. In fact, another train, number 242237, the light engine, we'll see him going by probably when we get to our final destination. Because he usually gets shuttled through early, those trains. You can see the train approaching now. This is train number 4134. We're not going to see anyone for a little while now. We've got a long, long journey from this point until we get to Góra Wodowska. I don't expect any more junctions or anything else happening on the line until we get to that point. That is shortly before we rejoin line number 1, and we're going to then be on our way to Zawiercie. I could have shown you the entire journey to the north, and I actually was going to do that. But I decided an hour and 40 minutes was a bit long for an introductory video, so I decided to just go ahead and abridge it here from beyond Psary, because a lot of the route north of Psary, except for the odd track going off and joining, it's all 2-lane traffic with the odd siding opening up. So it's better that I show you the entire route to Warsaw along that as one high-speed drive, and then we can take that drive from Zawiercie possibly as our terminus point. We don't need to continue beyond Zawiercie. So we're going to take this introductory section, and we're going to continue to Katowice today. In the full release, we will look at the route to Warsaw, starting from Zawiercie. I'm going to see if we can try to hop a train from Zawiercie heading for Poland as it is about to depart. So that'll be something I try and do in a future video. I'm also testing some new encoding options on my OBS, because I found out that the hardware encoding does not work very well with this game. In fact, the attempt to get this long drive in, within 10 minutes had started becoming choppy, even though my audio was fine. So I tried turning off game mode on the Windows 10. It turns out that did do a job to give me a good long video, but it then, when I stopped that video and started a second one so I could then have 2 separate videos to work with, the second one turned out choppy and I wound up not using any of it. So this is my 3rd attempt to do this video. I've now changed to X264 encoding. We're going to see how this works. But I'm going to go ahead and just do this one straight through, because I've determined that doing 2 separate videos is not the way to go. So you can see we are kind of working with a sort of a sunset here. It is 6:11 p.m. in the game. As I'm recording this in my time zone, it's 1:11 because we're playing on the Europe server here, so it's 1:11 in the afternoon my time. It's still nice and sunny here, so to speak, if you were looking at in-game weather. I can now identify the next train I'm probably going to see along the way. Number 42136 is approaching Gora Godowska right now. So we're going to be seeing that one next most likely. We're still far away from the station. You hear the train has started slowing down a little bit here. You probably saw the throttle or the brake lever up on the upper right, or lower right of the screen I should say, the right of the cabin. It was moved for a slowdown in speed limit, I believe. We're taking a slight right curve at this point. Pardon me, ladies and gentlemen. So we're approaching a road here that we're going to be crossing, I think, on a bridge. To the north of us is going to be the community of Zawiercie, and to the south of us is the community of Katowice. So those are two communities in this general area. They're both really small communities from the looks of it. There's not really a lot of people living in those areas. So these are some more rural communities, I guess is the way you can put it. There are a few streets in Katowice, but we're about to cross that bridge coming up right here. It might be a level crossing, but it could be a bridge. And I didn't see a level crossing, so it was definitely some kind of a bridge. I probably looked up too late, actually, because I have to remember this map is lagging behind a little bit. So we're coming up on the Główny area, and that is where we're going to probably pass 42136 in the Główny area. We're approaching about the same speed, I think. And there is the train. The traffic dispatcher at Góra Wodowska, I'm saying it wrong again, Góra Wodowska, I have to keep practicing that one. The traffic dispatcher there is currently a bot, so there is no human there at this time. This station can be human controlled, it just is not at this time. I think we're about 2 or 3 minutes away from that interlocking. And then we'll be on our way down towards line number 1 at that point. It should be noted that Góra Wodowska is to the north of Wlodowice, which is, again, to the south. There is a little bit of a community in that area as well. So there are communities dotted all over Poland. We're just going by an area to the north of that community. So our speed is slowing down as we come up to the interlocking. We may potentially have a red signal as we go through the interlocking, so we'll find out. We may even be getting reversed onto another track, because this is a bot. Who knows what the bot's going to do to move us down the track? We don't know that yet. I'm running this service on EN9 instead of EN1 because I figure EN1, by the time we get down to the southern area, there's probably going to be someone new playing on the server who's not going to know what they're doing, and we're going to have trains going and getting slowed down in weird ways and tracks being moved in weird ways, and who knows what's going to happen. So I figured EN9 there'll be a few more experienced dispatchers in that area to route you through. I will try to call out who is dispatching on my video as I go through the station. I can say that so far all dispatchers are bots. The first human I see is over at Łazy. So at Łazy LC we may have a player there. We are approaching the interlocking right now. Let's go ahead and bring up the information as we come through the interlocking. And you can see that indeed we were supposed to arrive 6 minutes from now, so we are 7 minutes early. And Zawiercie, we're therefore going to probably arrive, I'm going to say about 1928, 1929 is our probable arrival time. Extra time is built in the timetable, so if you get to the station early, good for the passengers. And it also makes sure that you stay there for a while and make sure you don't leave without all of your passengers. So we are dropping to a 120 speed limit again, so the train's going to eventually be held down at that 120. We are now passing the interlocking. You can see a road heading off on the highway there. That's the road to Wielodowice, or however you say it. I definitely need to have a pronunciation guide of how it actually sounds. I need that pronunciation guide. I need to work on that. I started one up to the end where line 1 comes on to line 4, but I didn't continue. So this is literally the next station on my pronunciation guide. I kind of want to finish the entire route to Poland before I actually start using the full guide. So even when I do the initial tutorial, it's going to be in the south area where I've already covered the pronunciations. And then I'm going to try and do any single run mission like a single player mission, hopefully in that area without going up to Poland yet. So we're going to continue to track until the tracks split. When the tracks split, we're going to be expecting line number 1 to come in at the Ribby area, or Reeby, or Reeby, or something like that. Right now, I can tell you that train 245055 is traveling towards us, it's actually going to be heading, I think, onto line 1, so it's going to be exiting at line 1. So it's not going to be taking the path. I don't think we're going to get to the bridge quickly enough to be able to see it at this point. So it is staying on line 1 according to my map. The next train that I see moving is 40184. That train is also moving in our direction, but it is also heading for the same direction from Gliwice. So neither of those trains is going to be on our path. We might see the second one go off. That again is 40184. We might see him, but we're not technically going to be passing him because he's not supposed to take our line. The next train that is for sure heading in our direction, I can't even tell you yet because I'm not 100% sure. I do see 444056, which apparently left from Katowice, Bukowiec. I can't even say that name. It is heading for Widzów, Teklinov, and it is possibly a train we're going to see by the time we get to line 1. So we'll see what happens. The tracks have split now, so you are going to see the other track is going to be heading very, very much in the other direction, hidden by some trees there. We're having a little bit of lag now in this area. I'm used to seeing lag in this area. Hopefully it doesn't affect the video feed, other than what I see, because the screen is capturing what I see. It tells you I need to lower the graphics quality on my game in order to try and get some smoother recordings. That's what I take that to mean. That could even help me with my actual recordings in general as well. I'll have to figure that out. It could help with my recordings themselves. So this is going to be line number 1 coming under us in just a moment. There it is. So this is the bridge taking us over line 1. I saw a train right there. There it is on the left. So that particular train, I can tell you, is the 40184. I wondered if we might see it, and we barely got to see it. So 40184 is right there. It is continuing on line 1. We just went over it. We did not see 245055. It's already gone off on line 1 around the left curve. So we are going to continue on, and we still have the light engine following us. 242237 is following us from something. It's heading for Chorzów Batory, which is actually along we're going to be taking, but we actually will go further than that on our route. coming up to another community here. I lost the name all of a sudden. Kosovska Niva is the community we're coming up on right now. It's near Markiskdal. Zawiercie Nov is also nearby. At this point, we may be coming through a station, Zawiercie Borov Pol. If we haven't already seen it, I have been looking at my iPad, so I might have missed it going by. We are now going to pass train number 444056. According to my information, we should not be at that station yet. That station is still coming up. In fact, I can see it clearly on the map right now where it is, so I know that we are not at that station yet. But here it is right here. This is Zawiercie Borov Pol. Looks like there are fences on it. I guess it's closed off, not available to us. I don't know. Maybe it only serves line number 1 because we're on line number 4. We don't actually pick up service from that station. So if we were taking the train up line number 1, we would actually pick up services there. Is how I'm reading that. Right now, line 1 and line 4 are still running on their separate lines, so there is no distinguishing between them right now. But at some point, as we approach Zawiercie and we approach the stations, line number 4 will merge completely into line number 1, and line number 4 will end at Zawiercie. So we're probably going to be taking a track to the left, moving into the next lane. As we do, the lane that we are currently in will become track number 160. Track number 160 will continue on that track. No, we're not taking that. We're taking 160, I guess. Who knows? Who knows? Sidings have opened up here in the meantime. Now we're taking the left track. This is the one I thought was coming up earlier. So now line number 4 ends as we pull into Zawiercie. That is now track number 160 as we get to Zawiercie. So you've come to a stop at Zawiercie. Let's bring up the information, see how early we are. We are 6 minutes early. We're going to have a bit of a turnover here. So I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead to a point where the signal clears and we are given progression. So I will see you on the other side of this brief little break. We got 6 minutes to wait here. Returning with you for a moment, I'm showing you the light engine that just passed us. That train has been following us all the way to this point. So that light engine is the one that I mentioned earlier, number 242237. The train that is passing us to the left, by the way, a moment ago, was 41134. So we do have some train action going on here. I will bring this to you as well. One more thing I want to point out as well. there's apparently a track under construction as we leave Zawiercie. If I remember, I'm going to try to point it out, but it leads to line 182, and then as that track ends coming towards Zawiercie, line number 705 takes it back onto the track in our direction. So there is a new interchange, a new Y section that is being developed, and that will not be in this game, or I don't think ever, because the way it's stated, it's not going to be showing up at all, I don't think. But it is apparently under construction today in the real world, and you will see that in the real world under construction. So keep that in mind. There is work being done near Zawiercie in the real world. We've been given a green signal. We are awaiting departure at Zawiercie. So there we go. So it looks like a yellow signal, but it is treated as a green signal in the dispatch area on the left, in the upper right, the signal information. So it is technically a yellow, but it shows as green. Let's continue onwards as we leave Zawiercie. Our next stop is Dąbrowa or Górnicza. The light engine is well way ahead of us now, but I believe we're going to be passing that light engine again because it's meant to go slower than we are. So it's getting into Łazy. It's probably going to be dispatched early from Łazy. We're going to see what Łazy LC decides to do with it because there is a human dispatcher at Łazy LC. Currently, Łazy itself cannot be managed by a human. It is always going to be a bot for the time being. And as I say that, my iPad decides to quit. So we're going to load that again. But that is up now. So we are going to be heading through the whole Łazy area itself in a moment. There are a lot of sidings around us as we continue through this section as well. So Łazy is most likely a place where freight traffic comes and goes a lot. That might be the Łazy LC building right there because we are very close to the Łazy LC interlocking. Actually, I take that back. No, we're still far from it. That was probably the Zawiercie building that we passed. The map I'm using actually shows where the dispatcher buildings are located, so I can try to identify what each building is as we go along. Really cool to be able to pinpoint it that much. It shows the detail that the developers have gone to try to locate exactly where everything is and to give a proper accounting for it on a map you can actually follow traffic on like a real-time travel guide. So for example, when I was doing Long Island Railroad in New York City on Train Sim Classic, I was actually looking at the app to follow actual real traffic to get an idea what kind of traffic patterns happened and to identify certain trains and timetables I couldn't identify. And I was able to put together pretty much the entire timetable, save maybe a couple trains, but pretty much the entire timetable for the entire Long Island Railroad just by looking at those connections and the information on the real-time app. The couple trains I couldn't identify are ones that are no longer exist today. They were canceled or changed into other services patterns. So I couldn't identify a couple based on that. But most of the ones I was missing, I was able to identify using that app. So it actually is neat to have something just like that app on a website, simrail.fr. You can follow any server in the game. And at launch, I assume it's going to be exactly the same. You can follow any server in the game and know exactly what you're going to be passing at any time, whether it be a train, another siding, not really siding, a dispatching area. You'll know who is dispatching that area, so you can basically go into the building if you're brought to a stop and yell at them, you know? Why not, right? So it looks like 242237 has been put into a siding, or it is at least going slower than we are. So we're going to probably get to pass it. This is Łazy. The dispatch building for Łazy is listed as being on the platform, interestingly enough. Frankly, that's where it should be in those cases. I don't know why it's usually a separate building, but it is. So we should be passing. There is that light engine right now, just as I said it. There was the light engine that has been asked to wait for us because we are moving faster than it. So the Łazy dispatcher did route us around him, and it will eventually rejoin after us. So I'm going to be watching it on the map as well because it's going to follow us all the way to Katowice. I guarantee you it's not going to be held up. Unless the human dispatchers decide, you know what, we're keeping you a timetable, buddy. In which case, it could get held up. So I am now approaching my first human dispatcher. The area ahead is Łazy Łc. This is being managed currently by Thibaut Mattij. M-A-T-T-H-I-J-S. I might be saying that wrong. So, our first human dispatcher on the journey today, he is managing this interlocking. Let's see how he does. It looks like we are starting with a red signal. It looks like he might be routing the light engine ahead of us because the signal on the other track is showing to be a green aspect over a yellow or white. So the light engine is indeed getting routed ahead of us at this time. This is unique. I did not see this on a previous attempt to play this, but we also had a bot at the station who routed me through first. So I think the typical procedure for this station is to route the player train first, or whatever faster train is, this service. I think the idea is to always route the passenger services ahead of light engines, definitely ahead of freight services. But you want to prioritize passenger services as much as possible. So this is a note for Thibaut here. The light engine, even though it was ahead, it does not mean it's the one that should be going first, because now if I bring up my information, it shows me a minute early right now, which is fine. And maybe on the timetable it does say that. I haven't actually managed Łazy yet, so I can't say. But I'm supposed to be at Łazy Łc right now, and as you can see, I'm not at Łazy Łc, or after it. So technically I am now going to be running late. That is something that can be rectified by sending this train first. The light engine doesn't need to be at its destination for at least another... I can tell you for a fact, the light engine arrives at Sosnowiec Główny by about 10 after. And I have to hold it until half past if I'm going to keep the timetable. So you do not need to rush these light engines through. Just hold them, send the passenger traffic through. That's how you manage these interlockings. So we're going to keep this up until we get a green signal, then we'll be on our way again. Now, I do also assume that Thibaut, being on EN9 with us right now, is probably an experienced dispatcher, probably has done this before, and may also be experimenting with different patterns. This is an open playtest again, so not everyone's going to be doing everything perfectly. I don't expect it. He could be trying different traffic patterns to see what works best, to see how things work. Hopefully he sees that this light engine is going so slowly that it would make no sense to hold up a 120 km/h train in the future. We'll see if he does that in the future, running on Łazy Łc. Passenger traffic should always have priority, and the fastest trains of those should be the most prioritized. We do have our yellow signal now, so we are clear to go. Let's go ahead and go back to just the view here. We're going to ride along. Now, since I'm not manually driving, I'm not actually going to be able to sound the horn at the dispatchers here. If I want to sound the horn, I need to be driving. For the same reason I also am not on the radio. Because I think you have to be driving to be on the radio. So the building for Łazy, I believe, is that area with the windows open on the right window right now. I believe that is Łazy Łc. Remember that we've passed other buildings in the past that had their shades drawn, they were closed. you're not able to look inside. That one is wide open. You can look inside. That is clearly a model building, and that must be where Łazy Łc is. The light engine is now a good way ahead of us. We're going to see if that carries on. We're going to see various tracks going everywhere here. We have line 154, which is going to be heading to the south. We have line 160, which kind of takes a path separating from us and then rejoining us. We have line 186, which comes from somewhere. Don't know where that starts exactly. I think I mentioned 154. We have, I think that's about it for this area. 154 does go through Zawiercie, I think is how you say that. We're going to continue through Broad. I know I'm saying that wrong. Broad, something like that. So that is going to be the station we see next. It's spelled CHRUSZCZOBROD. It's really the ZCZ, the ZCZ, as we call it in America, that I'm not familiar with the sound of yet. That's the one that really has me a bit tongue-tied right now. So if you cut out the ZCZ, you got Broad. So it's that little sound in the middle that I'm not sure about. That's the station we're seeing right now. We're going to head through Tuxnawa in a moment. Tuxnawa. I don't believe it is a station. It's just a community in the area. The next station is Dąbrowa, Górnicza, Sikorka. And since all the stations coming up in the next little area are Dąbrowa, Górnicza, I'm just going to refer to them by the last word of the station name. As you would do in Long Island, for example, or in New York, you might say New York, Queens. It's just called Queens, for example. So I'm just going to use the last word to refer to each station, assuming that Dąbrowa, Górnicza is assumed in each case. So here is Sikorka. That train that's passing us, by the way, I should give you that information. That was train number 644042. Freight services also cut very early into Sosnowiec, Główny. I've now forgotten the name of the station. I love dispatching. They usually come in early, and often we will sometimes give the player the option, if it's a player-controlled train, whether they want to go early, if there's room. But if there's no player on the train, I will always park it beside it and make it wait until 105, or 205, or 305, the time that it leaves Główny. At that point, it still has another holdover at Beijing. So I will always hold those trains if I can, but if it's a player service, I will try to give them the option, and if there is not any kind of a hold-up, off they go. We're going to be passing train number 4136. It is a Pendolino-type service. We cannot control these trains yet. So there is definitely not a human in that train. By the way, let me take a look back at the other train. I don't have player information for that train as of yet that we just passed. It is actually a bot. That's why I don't have information, because it's a bot. There you go. We're coming up on We're coming up on Zawiercie right now. There's another train hanging out at Zawiercie. That is train number 40686, also a bot right now. Somebody's honking at me.
There's a player in that train, I say. There must be a player in that train. We also passed the interlocking for this area. This will become player controlled, I believe, on Friday. So you should see it on Friday. So a lot of lines heading off in different directions here. We're seeing line number 133 head off to the south, which is to our left. We're seeing 183 go off to the west, which is to our right. We're continuing on line number 1, and we are now only on line number 1. There are no connecting lines at this point. We're just tearing through the countryside on line number 1. We're going to come next upon Pogoria. Line 133, by the way, heads to a really large yard in the area. There's a really large yard off of 133. So that is service yard, I believe, for the entire area. I'm just guessing when I say that, because I don't know for sure, but I would assume it serves the entire area. We did pass under the Highway 51, by the way, whatever they call the motor highways in Poland. That's what we just went under, Highway 51. Here is Pogoria that we're coming up on right now, if we haven't already passed it. My map is actually very delayed because we must have passed it when I was looking down, so we did pass it. We're coming up next on Golonog. Here is Golonog. Yeah, my map is delayed because on my map it just moved forward to a spot before the platform. So I need to remember I'm about 5 seconds before the map on this. 5 to 10 seconds. So we're passing the Dąbrowa city area on the right side right now. There's a good city area on the right. There's also a good one on the left. So we are kind of going through the city right now of Dąbrowa. There is a station up there, and we do have a player-controlled train currently at Dąbrowa. So it looks like we have, I don't know who it is yet. That's a railway crossing, by the way. I don't know who it is. I think the name is Elf. I see the name Elf on here. That seems kind of like a strange name. That might actually just be the type of service. So I don't know 100% who it is. But I saw Elf on it for some reason. We are approaching that at Dąbrowa. And I am using the proper name now because there is no side name. This is actually Dąbrowa station. This is a player-controlled station, but today it is being served by a bot. I know this crossing. I've walked down this track exploring during a dead area, and that is the crossing you actually control from the station. There is a siding over here. That is on the left side, as you see. The building is going to be right before the dispatch, or right before the station. So you see it right there to the left right now in the window. That is the dispatch building. You see the curtains are open. That is the building we look out the windows of. Here is the Dąbrowa station. That is the train that is being player controlled. You hear him honking at us. That is definitely a player controlled local when you hear honking. The AI doesn't really honk. I will try to find out who that is later if he's still on the map. And if I actually have information on who that is, I will actually add that as a tooltip to show you who that is. Because I like to identify who's playing with me. Anyway, let's bring up the information. We have arrived at Dąbrowa. As you can see, it is 1955. We are arriving right on time. So even with that slight hold-up at Łazy, the light engine just got to go way ahead of us, and we are still on time. So our AI driver made good time to get here on time. And there is that room in the timetable, so if a dispatcher does decide to route someone in front of you, as long as they route you next, you can still make it up. There is enough room in the timetable to pull that off. So you hear the doors closing. If we're not ready to leave yet, they may reopen, but Dąbrowa Górnicza has given us a green. We're probably going to take off right away. Well, maybe the AI has decided it's not time to leave yet. There he goes. So leaving Dąbrowa Górnicza, we're going to be going through Beijing. Our next stop is Sosnowiec, Główny. The player train going in the other direction has taken off. He is well on his way to Główny right now. So he's going to be going through there in a moment. But we're not going to follow him anymore. I'll see if I can find him later. I'll try to remember the icon. We are going to see another player train. This is a freight service, 644044. We are very close to it at this time, so I'm calling it out now. That is the train that we are going to pass next. You can see a track heading off to the left. I'm not 100% sure what that is at this point. That is a yard, by the way. It also serves the tram that is in that direction, and we got a horn honk from 644044, confirming it as a player train. Now we're coming up on a series of Beijing stations. I'm just going to refer to them again by their last name. So we're coming up on Zawiercie. We're going to be crossing under Highway 910 momentarily. The Alela Hugina Kolkatiai, or something like that. I can't say that last word. AIA is a new one to me. I think it's Kowatia or something like that. Anyway, it looks like a major highway that we're going to be going under here. That was it. That will bring us along this left curve going through Miasto. Miasto station coming up. And this is Miasto in the Beijing area. Now, if you were controlling at Dąbrowa Górnicza, you would actually see these stations on that particular map. Not all the computer screens show you the stations, but that one in particular does. So you actually would see that, and you would know if a train was in that block not moving, it's probably stopping for a passenger stop at that station. We're not one of those trains. And even from Sosnowiec Główny, you can actually see the next station after Sosnowiec Główny. If a train is not moving in the second section to the left of your interlocking, then you know that a train is stopped at that station as well, because it is in that block. I believe we just went through Beijing right now. I didn't call it out. We did pass the building near the front of the area where the platform was. So we did cross through there. The building is right near the front of the platform as we went by. And again, you can tell it's usable because the curtains are not drawn. So we're going to have a little bit of a curve to go along here. We don't have a lot of trains on here right now. Beijing, by the way, was being controlled by a bot as we went through. I can tell you, however, that there is a human controller coming up. at the next station, Główny. So we're going to have... Oh, I've seen this name before. Flesniog Matt, I believe, is the one managing the station right now. I've seen him in my games before as a dispatcher, so we're going to have him servicing us through Główny at this time. We have another AI-controlled train coming up in train number 41136. We're going to see him coming out as we go in. Going alongside the 3 Madha Road. That is to our left, so you saw the curve there. Something was turning off there. There are those are exit type ramps, one-way exit ramps onto and off of the major road that we just went under. So here's 41136 coming up as we come in, and actually he stopped at the platform, so we're coming to the platform right now. That is a bot train, so no horn honk. As we enter Główny. So we were not held up at the start of the airlocking, so Matt is doing a good job here in running us through right now. Good start. He may have actually given us green signals all the way to the end. I know I tend to do that if I know there's no traffic coming. The normal procedure is to put the red at the end of the platform, I believe, and then check for traffic from the alternate line. If there is no traffic coming in, I would then set the path before they have to take off. That way they can go whenever they're ready to go, and we don't have to hold them up. But if there is a possibility of other traffic, I will hold them until I know for sure that I can send the train. So bringing up the information right now, we do have a red signal. He has not cleared the rest of the airlocking yet, which is, again, normal procedure. I don't question that. That's really... proper to bring us in because we have to stop anyway. So it actually makes sure we know we have a red, we're going to stop anyway. And if he's looking at the schedule, which I'm sure he is, he knows that we are right on time. So we're going to be leaving in 1 minute, and he should clear the path for us at that time. Can you tell I'm an expert with this interlocking, ladies and gentlemen? Can you tell? I will judge harshly anyone who does not treat this interlocking respectfully. So we did pass an RIS graffiti way back at the... I'm not going to try to get on camera because I might screw up the recording by accident if I try and do too much. But the RIS graffiti was a little further back. It's actually right out of our... This might be next to our first car behind us right now. On the last video, you may remember I showed you a light engine that was parked in the siding right up here. I put him in the siding and I showed you where he was. So the light engine area in that video is what we're passing right now with siding number 5. Siding number 3, you may remember, is closed. So no one can use siding number 3. We're being taken to a red signal right now, so Matt has not yet cleared us. I can only assume there's traffic ahead of us. Unfortunately, looking at the map, I can see that is not the case. So Matt does need to get us clear. There's no one else on the map that I can see. So this may be a lapse in concentration, which does happen. I've done it. I'm not faulting him. So once he realizes that we have a move forward, he should give us access to the track. I also know that sometimes dispatchers will try to make it interesting for player trains. Since I'm shown to be driving the train, he's going to try to make it interesting for me, probably. And I'm not going to lie, there are times where I've had to make a decision between 3 different trains to go on the same patch of track. And I made a decision to put the bot train in front of 2 player trains just to give them something to look at. I have done that. So Matt has now cleared us through the siding. The siding is now clear from the looks of it. So we should see another signal further ahead. That signal would clear us out of the interlocking. actual time, we have about an hour to server reset, so we are going to be able to finish this journey. And we should be able to get this train through to at least Katowice and off the map. That's what we're going to be trying to do here. Now, as we continue along, there is another player-controlled interlocking coming up. That's going to be at Katowice Zawiercie. That is the last possible player-controlled interlocking on the map at this time. There is currently a train at the next station. That is also a Katowice station. So at Funsies, Południowy, that is a train that is waiting. Number 40688, also a player train. Oh, no, also a bot train, I should say. So it is a bot train, and it also has the label of Elf. So the other player, I'm pretty sure at this point, is not named Elf. That much I can confirm. We will not be stopping at the station, but this train is stopping at the station. And it may be that this train could be the one that we are following. So it may be that Matt may have decided that we need to hold for a moment for this train to get ahead of us. No, it's coming the other direction. Never mind. It's coming in the other direction. Cancel what I said. Line 138 from Sosnowiec is going to be joining us momentarily from the left. It's worth knowing at this time that if you are running Zawiercie, you're not able to send any trains along Sosnowiec at this time. The tracks are closed from dispatcher access, so you cannot send a train that way. So something is not set up in that direction yet to complete the run. I can confirm there is an automated dispatcher on the map at Sosnowiec who is probably sleeping a lot of the time now because nothing goes by there right now. And once the game launches, I assume we're going to have access to that station as an interlock. Meanwhile, we just passed by Funsies Południowy, a name that I know I am butchered. We're going to cross under Highway 79, the Bagiena. That's an automobile highway, not a train track. And it has all sorts of exit ramps, so I can tell this is considered a major type highway. There are exit ramps all along this. It meets Highway 86, which we're also going to be going over as we pass Zawiercie. Train number 42188 from Główny is currently at Zawiercie, so it is very shortly into its journey. It is going to be continuing to Sarzycko Kamienia. We'll be passing him in just a moment. Another bot train, by the way. So don't expect a horn honk. So you can see the lines to Sosnowiec on the left side of us. There are also some sidings over there because there are some sidings at Katowice Zawiercie, so several sidings in fact. I haven't worked that station very often, but I have put trains in those signs before if I need to hold them for a timetable, so that is something you can do. The station building is right there on the left. Again, windows are open, you can see in, so it is modeled, it is usable. By the way, the player at that station right now is Jessitim. I want to point out, if I haven't already mentioned it on a previous video, Jessitim was involved in a game 3 days ago, I believe, as I'm playing this, where he went to Dąbrowa Górnicza and found a ghost train at the platform that was blocking all traffic. He did an excellent job in handling that station. I just want to say that right now. He did an excellent job handling it. So definitely credit to him for that. I was handling Sosnowiec at Główny that evening, and both myself and the controller at Gene on EN1 were advising all trains of potential delays up ahead. So that way there was the expectation on all trains entering the area, you might be waiting for a while. So it made for a bit of a fun experience. I kind of wish I got some of the dispatching work that night, to be honest with you, because that was a fantastic session. I enjoyed that one. You can have some really good sessions if things are happening down the track and you have to plan around those things. It's better to have those things that happen accidentally or by some sort of glitch and have to work around those, as long as you can get trains through and solve the problem, that makes this game a lot more fun. There's the light engine. You remember him? 242237. We passed him at some point. He now passed us again. There's a whole bevy of trains hanging out at Katowice right now as well, by the way. Katowice, of course, being bot control, there is no other player control at that station at this time, so it is definitively going to be a bot at this time. Way over on one of the tracks to the right as we come in is train number 42140. So that's actually the train right there, I believe. That's the train we're passing right now. Oh no, the light engine. That's the light engine. So the light engine came to a stop up there. I didn't realize that. So 42140 will be to our left coming up. It sounds like another train is leaving up ahead. Either that or we've gained speed, I don't know. Oh, we've gained speed. So I see 42140 right there on the left, right now. So the first two tracks are blocked. I think we're taking the third track. So this is platform number 3, I believe. On the rightmost track, we have 24137. Next to us is 40637. And on the track to our left is 24185. Those are all the trains that are currently parked at this station. And we're going to probably see another train or two coming in here and there. We might see the light engine go through on a side track somewhere, but he's currently stopped at the start of the interlocking. In any case, that's all the traffic I have on the map right now, and if we look at our timetable, we have arrived right on time. So, I'm going to assume that Matt, way back in Sosnowiec, Główny, knew that we were going to be okay to still be on time here. It turns out we were right on time, so he did not hold us up too badly. We did make our service time accordingly. We're just going to wait for permission to leave. We're going to be going down line number 137. We're going to be seeing a bridge for another railroad track that's going to be leaving us before we go on our path. That would be line number, I'll confirm in a second once I zoom in on it again. That would be line number 660, I think it is. No, that's not 660, is it? No, 656. So we're going to be seeing the bridge for line 656 going over us on line 137 as we leave the station. That's where it's going to cut out. We're not going to get to see anything beyond that because nothing is modeled as far as Zawizie, because they have a different type of L. So Zawizie is outside of our path. We're not going to see Zawizie station, unfortunately. So this is the end of our path. I will hide the information as we leave so you can see the end of the journey. And then we're going to go ahead and return to the menu. We are on a platform that goes 70 kilometers per hour. 2 platforms over, where I've stopped on a previous run of this service, is actually 40 kilometers per hour. So each platform has a different speed that they're allowed to go. So it looks like different platforms have different speed limits. That is another train leaving around us. Who is that? Oh, that's a train heading in that direction. So that is the... actually, we're on track number 5 from the top of the screen. So we didn't take the 3rd track like I expected. We're on the 5th track. That is 24185 on its way along. And we're going to be probably following it in the timetable. So we're going to follow behind that one. I want to see what path that one takes, actually. So I'm going to stay with it for a moment. If we zoom in here, you can probably see there it is heading off in that direction. We're going to maintain a red signal for a moment as it leaves. It looks like it is also taking line 137, so we are going to be following this train for sure. Yeah, it is definitely taking line 137, so we are following it. I don't know if we're going to be able to stay zoomed in on it as it vanishes. I think it goes around the corner and it just disappears. So we're going to go ahead and zoom back out. We're going to go ahead and follow the end of our service. I think what happens is the train keeps going, but the player is pulled from the cab while the train keeps going. That way you don't have to have the experience of the train vanishing in front of you, seeing that, so you know where the actual end of the map is. I think the train just keeps going for a little while before it actually disappears. So I'm following the train ahead of us right now on the map as I continue. We are going to see line 656 on the right. We're going to take the train track here, I believe. No, we're not. We are on the right one already. So that's 139 going to the left. We're taking the junction 1 over here. We're going to follow this path, following right behind the train ahead of us. If there was a player in that cab, it would have been pulled by now. Because it has moved under track 656, it is continuing down the track until it vaporizes. I don't think it will reach the next station before it vaporizes on the map. So as we go into the sunset, the end of the world is about to approach. By the way, you can see some turntables on the right side of the track here. The turntables are used to turn trains around, just like in the UK, so nothing unusual there. Here is number 660, or 656, sorry. We're going to be pulled out momentarily, I believe. There it is. So we're pulled out. We have done our stop at Katowice. And sure enough, the train ahead of us is still going. In fact, I can tell you that the train number 4138 was just about to enter the map, but we got pulled out before we could see it. So 4138 just entered the map. And the train ahead of us, number 24185, is now going to pass by that train. Our train is still continuing. 14133 is still continuing. But when I'm looking at it on the map, and it does not show me in the cabin anymore. So it does show I was indeed pulled. It does show you can no longer get in the train if you go to the menu. The service is completed. And this area is exclusively AI that I'm in right now, that I'm looking at on the map. It is exclusively AI. You cannot get in the train in this area. So I'm just attempting to find out what the cut point is for AI services. I believe it is just before the station. And I will confirm that for you in a moment. While we're doing that, let's do a scroll down to see how we did on our timetable. Our AI driver did a good job. We got held up slightly at Sosnowiec, Główny, but we were okay with that. That didn't bother us too much. We actually got held up at Łazy as well because a light engine got path in front of us. But look at the path down here. This service goes all the way to Bohumin, which is another hour and a half from where we are. So can you imagine the potential if this gets built as a DLC route and we can take this as a new route? Just like Train Simulator Classic, just like Train Sim World, except we can't merge the routes yet. I'm sure it's possible, they just haven't really done it yet. So can you imagine if we can actually eventually take this entire route one day? It would be nice to be able to drive the rest of this journey and go all the way along the entire route here. That would be really nice to see, and I hope someday that we get to do that. I really, really hope someday we get to do that. But it will take probably another year for them to develop this route, I'm guessing. Small team, after all. You don't expect a small team to be able to do everything here. But it would be nice to get the rest of this journey. Same with some other journeys. I would love to see line 8 from Krakow all the way to Warsaw, just like we have line number 1. I would love to see the rest of line 1, all the additional stations along the way. Line 2, which goes from Warsaw to the border and then goes into another country. I would love to see all of that, but there's no guarantee we're going to get all of that. There's nothing announced in terms of DLC yet, as far as I am aware. So it took me some research, guys, but I wanted to find that route to Bohumia because I wanted to know exactly where that was. So let's just zoom in on where we ended our route here. We ended at Katowice and we went off along line 137 here. So obviously we have to go in this direction. What's interesting is that it takes a little bit of a turn before you reach Chorzo Batory. You actually head off to Hajduk, which I did see on the list. So that takes us to the south, and I'm just going to show you, zoom out quickly here. If we move a little bit over, you can see where Gliwice is over here. That's where some of the trains finish. They take 137 all the way over to line 200. So it'd be nice to at least get that, at least have the Gliwice part done and be able to watch the trains turn off to the south. Maybe we'll get that, but who knows. In any case, what I have determined is that you follow the route through Hajduk, you head along line 141 here, you continue along that through the Ruda area, and just keep going through that. You eventually take a turn on the junction at 149. You're going to head south on there. You're going to follow that path south through this place. Don't ask me to say all these names. You're going to keep going south. You're going to eventually take a turn on to continuing on 149, so you don't leave 149. You go through Knurov. After Knurov, and notice there's a huge siding there. So then you're going to go through another huge siding over here in this area as you continue. I don't know what this is called, but as you continue south, you're going to come to merge with line 140. So it's north of this area. Another small siding in here. Going to keep going along line 140. You're going to take a merge with line 148, now continuing as line 148 and a bunch of other lines through Rubnik. Or Rubnik, yeah. You're going to eventually keep going on 140. And 140 will keep going through more Rubnik stuff. Now, I think you keep going on 140. You don't take the south turn here. You just keep going through 140. So I believe... No, I take that back. You're going to take the south turn through 158. When you take the south turn through 158, you're going to pass another huge yard. You're going to pass more yardage here in these stations. And as you keep going, you're going to come to the end of this local line after you go through Sistovici and Besnica. And eventually you're going to meet another main line. Olza is the last place I know of on this route. You're going to merge with the main line coming into Rudiswald. And as you go south from there, you're going to come to Chalupki, which is the last stop in Poland, I believe. You're going to continue to this no entry style sign. This is where line 151 and line 629, 76, and all of them come to an end. You notice there's no line numbers at this point. As you continue along this main line, you come take a turn to the east here, and you come into Bohuman. There's another that's in the Czech Republic, by the way. So Bohuman, if you continue to this direction, you eventually return back into Poland through another station or two. So eventually you come back into Poland via where I'm going to find the no entry sign on this side. You're going to find eventually line 93 at this no entry sign is where you re-enter Poland, and you continue along more stations in Poland. So you're going to eventually find another way back to Katowice along these southern lines if you so choose. So that's basically what we're working with in terms of the Polish network in that area. I don't predict this is going to be made as a DLC because there's just so many lines that have to be made. But at the very least, I'd love to see Gliwice and more areas around Gliwice developed so we can at least get part of the path. Again, if we don't get the whole path, so be it. But can you just imagine if they were to try to complete the whole Polish rail network, how cool that would be, and if it were all able to be done on one map? I don't know if it's even possible to do that with today's hardware or not, but it would be so cool if it could be done. It would just be so amazing to be able to run the whole network in one shot like that. In any case, let me know what you think. I'm going to go ahead and get ready for the next video on Friday. I'm going to be probably pre-recording this one in advance because I have to get it in the playtest build. It's going to take way too long to download the game. Someone told me 95 gigabytes, but I'm reading in the store, it might be more like 50. Usually the number in the store is not necessarily 100% accurate, though. It could still be 60, 70, 80. I don't know. So we're going to see what happens when the game installs, when I get it. But it's going to take so long to download, I'm probably not going to be able to run the tutorial on Friday. So I'm going to be pre-taping the version. It's going to be on the old graphics. We're going to get much newer graphics on Friday. You're going to see one more video from this playtest build. And then after that, whether it be on Saturday or Sunday, we'll find out. I might not be able to get it for Saturday, but I will try to at least get another video for Sunday doing something else. And then I'm going to try and get one more dispatching session with that as well. I actually have some a mod that someone asked me to try, like someone wants people to try out, so I'm trying it out for him. And it is dispatching related, so I want to see if I can get his mod features to show off some of the mod support that's already happening with this game, things you can do to tinker with the game and play with the game. So I'm going to see if that works with the full version. We're going to give it a try on the full version, and hopefully that is a really good showcase of some of the mod support already happening for this game. So I'm already excited about the potential for this game. I'm excited about the potential for editing in this game, for new routes and sets and networks designed for people to play on and dispatch in those games. It'll be a very, very exciting time here in the Simrail community. And I'm going to keep tabs on it because, you know what, that's what I do. I keep tabs on things, and I like to do videos on games and do some promotions. So, and I'm not asking PlaySim to do anything for me with this either, but it would be nice, obviously, to get some support from PlaySim on this as well, just to help promote their game. It is their game, after all. But again, I don't expect anything like that. I just do this for fun. I do this for myself. In any case, I will see you for the tutorial on Friday. I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, or night, whatever it is for you, your part of the world. And I will see you for this launch in 2 days. See you for that. I'm Cyclone. Bye-bye.